Greetings, Iain from RTO here. Hope you're all well on this Friday. Friday is, of course, live album ranking day, where we have a look at live albums, look at some of the bands and their live material. Now, this week is actually part of the John Mitchell story, because we've already done Arena's studio albums, so I thought to keep John Mitchell's work in Arena, we'd have a look at their live albums. Now, of course, Arena were formed in 1995 by Clive Nolan, keyboardist of Pendragon, and ex-drummer of Marillion, Mr. Mick Pointer. They've had 2 or 3 singers. Mitchell came in after the first album, and he's been there ever since. Plus, he's been doing everything else. So, Arena, one of my favourite bands. I've never seen them live, but their live albums are fantastic. They've made 6, and this was tough because they're all as good as each other. It was so hard to do this one. It took a little while to get this right, and I still don't think I've got it right, in all honesty, but this is how we're going to go today. So, coming in at number 6, we have Arena Live from 2013, and it's recorded on the 2011-12 tour. So it's John Mitchell on guitars, Mick Pointer on drums, Clive Nolan on the keyboards, John Jowett on the bass, and Paul Manzi on vocals on this tour. First track, Great Escape. Good track. The Bedlam Fair, one of my favourites, and A Crack in the Ice, which is an absolute belter. Don't Forget to Breathe, really good. Rapture, The Ghost Walk, wonderful. They really capture the whole of that track live. One Last Au Revoir. What If, Burning Down is brilliant on here. Serenity, Ascension, and then a bombastic version of Valley of the Kings. John's guitar work on there is brilliant. The Eyes of Lara Moon, great track. Ghost in the Firewall, Crying for Help Part 4, great track. I mean, I love Crying for Help, all parts. There's some lovely singing in that, and they do it very well live. The City of Lanterns, Riding the Tide, The Tinderbox, which is a belter on here, Solomon, Crying for Help Part 7, and The Visitor. A great selection of songs, played brilliantly, of course. They do deliver live. There is not... They try and recapture the sound they had in the studio. The only thing that spoils this one, they fade out the live tracks. Don't fade out live tracks, please. So I'm still going to give it an 8, ratio ranking of 8 out of 10, because it's a pretty cool album. Okay, then coming in at number 5, we'll go to 2001 now, and an album called Breakfast in Biarritz. Now, the thing is, oddly, it wasn't recorded in Biarritz, it was recorded in Amsterdam. And the band at the time when this was done was Rod Snowden on the vocals, John Mitchell guitars, Clive Nolan keyboards, Iain Salmon on the bass, and Mick Pointer on drums. Opens up with the brilliant Movie Drone. I love this. It's brilliant live. It's even better live. Then straight into A Crack in the Ice, which is brilliant. Double Vision, I love. Midas Vision, Serenity, the wonderful Butterfly Man, which is absolute epic on here. The Hanging Tree, A State of Grace, classic stuff. Enemy Without, and ends up with Crying for Help Part 7. Bit of a short, well, it's not a short album with times, because the Movie Drone's 27 minutes, but as an actual album there's only 10 tracks on it. It's a brilliant album, great version of Movie Drone, and I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay then, coming in at number 4, we have from 1997, Welcome to the Stage. It was recorded in Quebec City in 1997. So on here we've got Clive Nolan on the keyboards, Paul Wrightson's on the vocals now, we've got John Jowett on the bass, Mick Pointer on drums as ever, and Mr. John Mitchell on the guitars. We get the William Tell Overture, bit of Lone Ranger, Hi-Ho Silver and all that good stuff. Then it goes straight into a great version of Valley of the Kings. Out of Wilderness, brilliant track. Midas Vision, The Healer. Another awesome version of Sirens, which is an absolute killer track. Medusa, Welcome to the Cage, great live, Jericho and Solomon. Well, I love this album because it's got all the early stuff as well. We've got Paul Wrightson singing on it. Brilliant live album. As I've said, they're all brilliant. So I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10 because it's got lots of nostalgia on that one. Okay, coming at number 3. From 2004, we got Live and Life. Now, this is from the Contagion tour of 2003. So it's Rob Snowden on doing the vocals, John Mitchell, Clive Nolan, Iain Salmon on the bass, Mick Pointer on the drums. Opens up with the daunting Witch Hunt. God, do I love that track. Angel Falls, a little short piece, goes straight into the Painted Man. The Way Madness Lies, well, what a track that is. Spectre of the Feast, absolutely great live version of that. Skin Game. Salamander, Bitter Harvest, City of Lanterns, Riding the Tide, Cutting the Cards and Ascension. Just great tracks off the Contagion album. Serenity, Chosen, Double Vision, which is brilliant on this version. The Hanging Tree, always brilliant. Don't Forget to Breathe, lovely track that is. The Butterfly Man, as ever, is just amazing. The Enemy Without, great stuff. Solomon, solid track in their set. Jericho and Crying for Help. I just enjoy listening to these. I remember listening to this one to do this show. I had it on the headphones. I walked to the nearest post office is about a 20-minute walk, and I had some stuff to take to the post office. So this went on, and it was brilliant to listen to this, nice and loud. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.4. Okay, then coming in at number 2, we have 20, which came out in 2016. Now this is recorded live in Katowice, Poland on the 9th of April 2015. Different lineup again, but it's Paul Manzi on the vocals, John Mitchell guitars, Clive Nolan keyboards, Kylan Amos on the bass now, and Mick Pointer as ever on the drums. This one opens up with the great Demon Strikes. Fantastic. Rapture, Double Vision again, Cracked in the Ice. The brilliant Movie Drome again. How Did It Come to This? Wonderful track. Salamander's brilliant. Bedlam Fair. Serenity. The Unquiet Sky, which is absolute belter on the album. It's even better live. It's got so much atmosphere. Traveller Beware, another brilliant version of that. The little ditty City of Lanterns that goes into Ride to Tide. The Hanging Tree, the Tinderbox, the ever-present Solomon, Don't Forget to Breathe, and Crying for Help 7. Great album. I mean, Paul Manzi, I think, is probably my favourite singer that ever sang with Arena, because he sings all the other people's songs so great as well. Be interesting if they release a live album with Damien, see how he copes with all these old songs. I'm sure he'll do a fine job. I mean, because I love the new album, so hopefully we'll get something. It's an excellent album. What more can you say? It's just John Mitchell's playing on these albums is terrific. He is a very underrated guitar player and one of my favourites. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.5. So my number one album, it's the most current one that they've brought out, and you could only get it through their fanzine or something. But I did manage to get a copy of it, and it's called Revisited 2019. It's recorded in Holland on the Revisited tour of 2018, and it's Paul Manzi, John Mitchell, Clive Nolan, Kylan Amos, and Mick Pointer. First, part one is called The Visitor for some reason. Opens up with A Crack in the Ice. Best version. Of all the versions that they've done live, this is the killer one. Pins and Needles, brilliant. Double Vision. Ely, or Ela, brilliant. The Hanging Tree, again, the best version of that. State of Grace. Blood Red Room, that little short piece. In the Blink of Your Eyes, brilliant on. Don't Forget to Breathe, absolutely fantastic on here. Serenity. Tears in the Rain. Enemy Without. Running from Damascus, which is brilliant. And a brilliant version of The Visitor. Absolutely killer version. Poison, Jericho, Mirror Lies, Tinderbox, a fantastic version of Solomon, goes into Ascension, and then the best version of Crying for Help 7. Oh, so much atmosphere when they sing part 7 on this. This is awesome. I think it's got some of the best live versions of these songs. And it was, again, one of them gigs that everybody clicked on it. Everyone was on fire. John's guitar work on this was just awesome. Mick's drumming performance on this show was fantastic. He has had a lot of stick over the years because of his bit. A lot of people have said he's one-dimensional, and that's why he was kicked out of Marillion. I think he's a fantastic drummer. He's a proper prog drummer, and I love this album, and it's a brilliant live album from a brilliant band. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.6. So there we go. That's part 2 of the John Mitchell story. Part 3, we're looking at a band that he formed or helped form called Kino, which is a bit of a super group, and it just feature a member of Marillion in it as well. So that's next week. I'll be back later with a new album review, and it's an album that came out last Friday, and it's the new one from rock band Black Star Riders. So join me for that very shortly. Bye for now.